This microphone looks appalling. It's like a gun, pistol. If anyone talking something nonsense, I will shoot it. The staff try to adjust things. Some of them, they use their own money, own fund. They want us to clearly understand the talk, because the main problem is that this particular hall is not specifically designed for using microphones. Because when we want to hear the sound very clearly, it needs to be aircon hall. But it's going to be difficult because we have to have meals in this hall as well. There was 2 people submitting homework, many people in this morning. There was one person very interesting. That one person doing samadhi, making the mind still. And the other person have the samadhi to become stable. These 2 people are different. The person who committed samadhi to be still, he felt that how could he improve? Because the mind just still. The calmness samadhi is the lazy samadhi. It has its own benefits. It helps our body and mind can get some rest. But if you get some rest too much, don't know how to make a living, you don't know how to become rich, that's a nonsensical question. If you keep on resting, how could you become rich? Likewise, doing still samadhi, how could you gain the attainment? It's impossible. But without calmness samadhi, without doing it at all, the mind will be exhausted. When if it becomes too exhausted, you try to enjoy it. Sometimes the mind uses the method of sleeping as the way to get some rest, because the mind is so torturing. Those who do samadhi and the mind becomes still and calm, you have to activate, energize the mind to cultivate wisdom. You can do by contemplating the Dhamma, any particular topics of Dhamma. But the Dhamma masters that the forest disciplines to contemplate is the contemplate of the body. You can contemplate on other topics of Dhamma as well. I used to do that. For example, if you're stuck in the calmness samadhi, you can contemplate on the Dhamma related to Pamojjo or the aggregates or the 4 elements. The purpose here is to activate the mind to think, not let it become still. If it becomes still, then it couldn't give rise to wisdom because it's lazy. Most of the masters use the easy method and safe method. If you keep on contemplating the Dhamma, you never quit. You keep on contemplating one onto another, and you become breathless in the Dhamma. Most masters in forest disciplines that I've learned with them, they taught us to contemplate the body. We can do that through 4 ways. The first one, we contemplate through the asubha, foul things. That's workable. Or we can contemplate the impermanence of it. It who was suppressed by suffering all the time. It's not in our command. It's not ourself or belong to us. It's just only mass of substances and elements. We can do this as well. For those who study a lot of texts, they said that to contemplate the asupa or the foul things is merely kama samadhi. It's not good. You have to contemplate on the three characteristics. But actually, whatever you contemplated on, they're all kama samadhi because it's matter with thinking. If you contemplate on the body to be impermanent, you're still thinking it. You're still thinking that the body was suppressed by the suffering. You keep on thinking. For example, contemplating the body is not us, doesn't belong to us. It only means mass of substances and elements falling in and out. As long as you're still thinking, it's not vipassana practice. It's still kama samadhi. It makes your mind calm and happy and peaceful. Therefore, on this stage, if you want to try to fix the mind that's stuck in the samadhi to be still like that, you can contemplate on the foul things. It's doable. No matter what kind of contemplation, whether it's asubha, foul things, or the three characteristics, they're all related to kama samadhi. But there's one advantage, especially for the monks, like the young monks, young adult monks, their sensual pleasure is still strong. It doesn't mean that when they become a monk, they don't have the sensual pleasure at all. But actually, they're the same as lay people. Lay people have they can vent out, but for the monks, they cannot. They have to suppress them. Sometimes it's become stressful and it become idiosyncratic. But to contemplate on the foul things, there one's advantage. And it helps us to suppress the sensual pleasure, the lust. So most of the masters taught their disciples to contemplate of the body as the foul things, asubha. To do that, it can be done through different ways. Depends on each technique. Some people produce different new ways to do it. It can be done because it's through thinking. Any thoughts can be possible as long as you still in the frame, to thinking in the frame of the foul things. Some people contemplate the body that looks beautiful and nice. It's not actually is beautiful and nice. It's only beautiful because of the hair and the skin. You can imagine the Miss Universe if they have a lot of things on their heads, the animals in their heads, and or all the hairs just gone. They're not beautiful anymore, or their nails crippled, the teeth, some of the teeth gone, smiling, showing no teeth. It's frightening, not beautiful. Why don't they do surgery and all the skins got hot water splashed on and the skins seems unevenly colored. It's not cute, it's not satisfying anymore. You can contemplate on the body, nails and skin. You can do that. Or you can contemplate on the beautiful women that you like. Back then, they are not beautiful like this. Once they were young, they are very cute. But now they're beautiful. But they won't be beautiful as forever. When time goes by, their hair turn gray. Some people have to stretch that face, like do a bit surgical procedure to make the face look young. When they're getting old, they start from the hair becomes gray. There are wrinkles. First, the wrinkles happens on the back of your hand. Some people take a glance on your hands and see whether there are wrinkles. Actually, there are many people in this room doing so. They're afraid of being old. But for the gray hair, we're all accepting that. But once they become the wrinkles on the skin, but still we keep looking. On this area, it becomes wrinkle first on the hand. You keep on observing and contemplating that hair turned gray, wrinkles on the skin, tooth gone, the eyes that used to be beautiful, like the eyes of the deer. Anyone that look in the eyes of the deer, it's fairly crystal clear. But once they becomes old, their eyes becomes dull. Like those who are easily angry, they are not having a beautiful eyes, and then become weak and painful. They become old and cannot eating very much. Only skin left, and they die, pass away. At first, it will be cold on the feet. It actually becomes cold at the end of your feet first, before you die, and becomes crawling upon your head. It's keeping colder and colder. That particularly beautiful women, born and growing beautiful and then getting old, and now they are dying. At first, at the time of the death, only like a few hours pass by, the body becomes stiff. Once the more than 24 hours, the body becomes malleable and rotten. But if you put on the coffin, the cold coffin, some mold can germinate all over the body. Actually, the faulting is actually within us. Even though you put in the refrigerator, your body still get the mold and foul. Without injecting the chemicals, your body will turn green. Without injecting the chemicals, then when 24 hours pass, the body will full of water, and the water can move, and you could hear the water moving. And if you turn the back of the corpse, then it will be like red spot, red area here and there, and the body become bloated. All the blood will coming out. All the foul things will be flowing through different doors. Nowadays, people use the things to block the doors, like put on the nostrils, being afraid of foul things coming out. Eventually, these are dying and rotten. So they put them in the soil. Only without cremating, the skin's gone, the flesh gone. Keep on contemplating like this, the lust will go away, but the next day it will come again. And keep on contemplating repeatedly. You cannot suppress it anymore. Just keep on thinking. Like you just want to contemplate it briefly because you know quite a lot that at the time of the death there's a process like this. So you lazy to be thinking like that. So the meditation objects that we use, the meditation techniques that we used to use and work, it won't workable. You have to think of other aspects. There was one master, not sure whether Ajahn Wan or Ajahn Chuan. He likes one woman, and and in the rural areas when they want to take a number two, they go into the field, and there was one day that woman go into the field to take a number two, and this monk went to have a look when he was a layperson, and he contemplated on that fountains, and he knew that he shouldn't be involved with women, and became strong. And Luangpu Pramote Pamojjo, when he was a young adult, he wanted to go ordain, and he realized that men addicted to women, and he found that, can I touch women? I wanted to know what the women like, because in the old times women and men don't mingle. Once the women granted permission, then Luangpu Pa take a grip on the chest of that woman, and he assimilate that chest to be your thigh. So he touched the thigh as well. So it's actually the same thing. So he ordained. So he become once a body vista. He has a lot of virtue. To contemplate on the four things can be done through different means. Depends on each individuals that develop these techniques. These techniques might be doable for this particular case, but it could be used differently in another case. You have to use the mindfulness with wisdom. Some people want to leave the monkhood, like Temple Lee. He's almost not become Temple Lee. He used to go to Sabatum Temple. He used to live in the northeastern part of Thailand, Ubon Ratchathani province. But once he went to Bangkok for a while, he wanted to leave the monkhood. And he thought to himself, he's about to leave the monkhood. So he liked to do the dusk till dawn Dhamma practice in Sabatum temple. And he keep on thinking. He didn't think about the Dhamma. The mind wanted to leave the monkhood utmostly, and he keep on thinking what to do after leaving the monkhood. And he got a friend at a place, and he wanted that friend to do the same work as him, as the friend. And he keep on contemplating and thinking, scattering, that if he want to do a job, he will be diligent, and his salary would be higher and higher, and then the boss will have loving kindness towards him, and he will be able to marry the daughter of the boss, and he'll become the master of the house, and he expand his business and have a lot of children. And the women The wife that used to help him with the jobs, she has to taking care of the children, so she couldn't help. So he become exhausted from working. And then women then become unwell and pass away. I can't remember the whole details, but the direction of the story was like this. So he, a single father, and after taking care of children and working as well. So other business just become getting worse and worse. And children keep on crying, weeping. She couldn't sleep at night. The life is very difficult. So the difficult of the life of the lay people becomes very difficult. So he realized that, he wanted to go to enter the monk. But then he realized that now he already became a monk. So he quit thinking of leaving the monkhood. And he's one of the prominent master. He's a lot of disciple. When I was paying respect to the first time I visited him, I was only 7 years old. He only taught me to chanting Buddha, breathing Buddha, and chanting, breathing Buddha and breathe out though, and counting 1 to 10, and 10 to 1. I couldn't count the number backwards, so I counted 1 to 100, and I start 1 to 100 again. Keep doing that. To contemplate on the body, all the foundings, you can contemplate whether your life is uncertain as well. Like Tanpali, see the unsubstantial of the life. There's not nothing essential of the life. Everything is empty, and you can see the impermanence in non-self. There is nothing is under our command. We have to lose everything at the end of our lives. The things that we attain from this thinking, contemplation like this is the calm mind. The peace of the mind will be attained. Those who disrobe, like learning Pariyanka, but they forgot to contemplate on the Supa, and they thought that it's not Paramatta. But actually, it really helps you to get away from women and get away from men as well. Amongst these things, they are very trendy. They have a boyfriend as well. It could be seen in the news. You can contemplate on the foundings, and you can suppress the lust, and you wouldn't falter in these things. So to contemplate things, we use it when the mind stuck in the calm samadhi or stillness. If you're doing samadhi and you become lazy and didn't want to cultivate wisdom, become still, you have to actuate the mind to cultivate wisdom by thinking, by contemplating on foul things or impermanence or the suffering or the non-self, not under our command. You can contemplate on the fourth perspective. Do not think beyond this, otherwise you'll keep on contemplating this woman is very beautiful, the hair, the nails, the skin is so beautiful. If you just walk by him or her, it's very beautiful. So the defilements that never rise, and the defilements that already embedded it just becomes resurfacing. So those who falters because they're not be careful about their thoughts. They believe in Lord Buddha have the Samma Sankappa, which is the right thought. We only think in terms of impermanent suffering non-self. We're not thinking through the power of lust, not thinking through the power of aversion, not thinking through the power of the delusion. For those who falters, the Gokai, the women, Gokai, they don't have the Samma Sankappa as well. They don't preserve their, and they never contemplate on the foul things. I actually taught monks here, when the lust happens, you cannot forbid it to happen. The sexual hormones working. Monks are not never got their testicle cut off. There's still male hormones in it. So you cannot forbid the lust to happen. If it's calm for a moment, for a period of time. If you want to contemplate on the foul things on and on, it cannot be done forever. The mind like to comes back to thinking on the sexual things, like males, females, whatever their preference. So the important point is that to fight against the lust is that you shouldn't creating the essential thoughts. Do not let the mind thinking through the lust, the power of the lust. Thinking something else. If you don't mind, didn't think about the lust through the power of the sexual hormones. If you continue on thinking, the sexual hormones will be the ones who activate the mind to thinking in a sensuous way. Likewise, women thinking of men, men thinking of women. If you're smart enough to practice Dhamma, when you have the sensual desire, it will activate the mind to thinking in a sensuous way. Do not think like that. You can think in the opposite way, for example, the foul things. Thinking in the opposite way, or you're thinking something else, well, it's doable. Like thinking of Lord Buddha, or thinking of the masters. Lord Buddha also had wives and children. Why they can sacrifice all those happiness in the world? The happiness that we possess doesn't compare to his happiness, but he brave enough to sacrifice those happiness and become solitude in the woods. When he's born in the forest under the tree. When he becomes enlightened, he becomes enlightened under the tree, as well as when he passed away under the tree as well. Why he could sacrifice all the happiness, essential happiness in the world? Because he keep on searching for the higher cause. So you can keep on contemplating like this, the story of Lord Buddha. Or you can think of masters. Those masters used to become struggling like us. Nobody's never struggling. They're all struggle. Why he can fight against and become triumph. We all have hands and feet. We can look at examples of the winners, like the masters. They are good examples. I have 30 or more masters that I've learned with them. Some of the master, I went to visit and haven't talked to him even a bit. I just sitting closely to them and seeing his thoughts and words and actions of them. So I taught myself those things. Some of the master I have to ask them. Some of the master I didn't. I sitting close to them, and whatever I stuck, the master would tell me right away. The master that I learned with them is very supreme, superb. It's Thai jokes. So the master that I learned with them is very superb. Those masters used to have defilements and struggling. But why they can accomplish? We are disciples of them. How could not we walk the footsteps of them? The mind might fight like this. If you don't let the mind go along with the defilement thoughts, if you don't let it happen, then the mind will be calm. If you let the mind think in the sensuous way, the lust will growing. If you're thinking in the terms of diversion will growing. A lot of information excites diversion and lust from time to time. For a period of time, it excites the diversions like you're angry at that person that did this and that person. The mind is really angry. So if the mind angry, that's okay, but you shouldn't scold them. Nothing getting better. No matter how hard you scold them, they're still nonchalant. Then not become ache and pain at all. Not like you're throwing a fig at them. There was one monk. He would want to go to another village. His name was the village name Sunaparanta in Bali. And that villagers really hate the monks. And they are all hunters. But then our Buddha said that if they scold you, how would you handle that? And that particular monk said that it's better than they hit me. And if they hit you, what would you do? And he said that it's better than got thrown by the rocks. But if they throw the rocks, it's better than being dead. And if you die, what would you do? It's better than becoming suicide. That's how he look at this perspective of the world. Some people could see this. This is not the problem. It's a lesson for them to learn. That's the way he thought. He's not afraid of the death. So he let this particular monk go to Sunaparanta. Not sure where it is. There was one monk in Somanat temple. He read the script in the rocks, and you could see that it's Sampran in Thailand. But this monk has a lot of endurance and loving kindness, and he can win the villager's heart and becomes Arahant. And he take all the villagers to come to pay respect to Lord Buddha. And Lord Buddha also pay a visit to this village. So, if you're afraid, you're thinking through the afraid. It's through the aversion. You're afraid of doing things. You want to run away all the time. But he didn't think through the aversion or the lust. And he didn't want to harm other people through the delusion. I don't have much time. Like being savito, thinking of people through the delusion without knowing good or bad. Like those who like to go fishing in the temple, they thought that the temple are public places. The fish, they do fishing and there's no consequences. But actually, the fish cannot be done like that. They think that it's nothing wrong. Or they do fishing and they think that they have concentration. If the fish bite the bait, then it becomes the consequence of the fish, the karma of the fish. They don't have the right view. But if you careful of your thoughts and uphold the five precepts, then your mind will be calm and clean. All the wordings and the actions and the livelihood would be clean and clear because you have the right thoughts and right speech and right action as well. When you making a living without clean, then your mind will become brave. You'll be able to improve your mind better. The way that we can improve our mind better, you have to realize that the things that makes our minds miserable, sad, is the defilements. The old nature of the mind is already bright. The true nature of the mind is very bright and clean and clear, but it becomes sad because of defilements that comes in. So you have to have the mindfulness to observe the defilements within your heart. Do not observe other people's defilements. If your mind becomes irritated or greed or envious, no so. Try to be aware of your own mind on and on. If your mind becomes happy and happy, keep on knowing so. There are a lot of vocabularies in Thai related to the minds. I used to accumulate it through the dictionary, about 200. And some people said that they got like 300. There are many more vocabularies related to the mind, like happy and happy, irritated, or dull, or and agitated. These are the vocabularies reflecting the heart, or the black heart, dark heart. You got a dark heart. It's not only dark within your heart; it's also dark in your mind or your face. I used to falter. Actually, I used to know that this person is the disciple of the same masters. So I went to visit them, and a lot of people said that that monk is good. I was a lay person that at that time. I was so stupid. I thought that also the meditation monks is all good, and I saw this monk that why this person is so dark and black. I thought that he practices very diligently and becomes scorched by the sun and becomes darker skin. But it's so dark. I didn't know that I saw through the spatial observation, not just the flesh eyes. I made understood when when it's dark, it's all dark. Like the monks that committed abat, it's all dark as well. The dark heart or the bright heart, it's bright and clear, it's calm. The different vocabulary related to heart. It's very good of Thai people. Like the old people, they really good at observing their hearts. That's why. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to identify these vocabs. Or if you become sad, it's very difficult to translate. There's a saddened heart and a heart that becomes falters, feel making mistakes, different kind. There are wholesomeness and unwholesomeness. You have to have the mindfulness to be aware of this. So, Samma Vayama, whether it's wholesomeness and unwholesomeness, you have to be aware of them till your mindfulness becomes quicker. Once your mindfulness becomes quicker, then the right mindfulness will arise. The right samadhi is not only calm samadhi, it's the stability of the mind. The difficult parts of the Dhamma practice that I told, the most difficult thing is that to train the mind to become stable or make the mind become awakened. This is the most difficult part of the Dhamma practice through the eyes of myself, in my perspective. I'm not sure whether how the text said, but Lord Buddha said that the self-awareness is the beginning of the fight of overcoming the defilements. So the self-awareness is the phenomenon that when the minds become with yourself, to reach this point is no easy task. Because you were born with delusions and die with the illusion. In order to break apart all the delusions, it's very difficult to make the mind become awakened. So try to find a way, how could we become awakened? I was awakened since I was young, like 10 years old. My mind's become stable now, and aggregates are separated. How could we become awakened? You cannot enter the jhana samadhi. In this life, you cannot train yourself to enter the jhana. It takes many lifetimes. Those who can enter jhana, they train for many lifetimes. This is not sitting and say that they enter the jhana. That's not the true thing. Most people become drowsy and asleep in the samadhi. If you cannot do that, you can meditate on any kind of object limitation. You can use the body and mind or the thought as well. But the important part is that when you meditate on that particular object, you have to observe the mind. We don't focus on the calmness. We observe the mind. For example, breathing in, put and breathe out. Though if the mind is calm, no so. The mind scattered, no so. The mind drifted away, no so. The mind sending out to the breath, no so. Keep on observing the mind on and on, and learning through the mind on and on. If you could see the phenomena of the mind as they really are, then the mind can become awakened automatically. If the mind drift away to the world of thoughts, no so, and the mind that drift away to the world of thought will fall away, and the noble mind will awaken. And you can see the defilements behind the overcasting. Once the defilements fall away, then overcasting will fall away as well. Overcasting is actually good fabrications. When you're drifting away, is that the bad, evil fabrications. You have to know the root cause of them. Why you want to overcasting? Because you're craving for goodness. Once you know the craving, then the overcasting will fall away. It's a good realms actually, but this good realms coming from the craving. It's creating realms, all kinds of realms. It's all created by the craving, whether it's good or bad. It's all the craving is behind all these actions. So you keep on training, knowing, meditating on objects and be aware of your own mind, learning of your heart. If your mind drifts away, no so, or focusing on the object, no so, on and on, then the mind will become awakened. Once the mind becomes awakened, then we reach the point when it becomes smooth. From now on, once the mind becomes awakened, as long as the mind becomes awakened, the aggregates will be separated automatically. Because in fact, the 5 aggregates are already separated. That's why it's called aggregates. Aggregates mean parts, mean heap, like parts. These 5 parts are already separated because our ignorance, we misinterpret that the whole aggregates are us. You can see that when you are ourself, there will be you holding to pull things together. You want to be calm. You want to practice Dhamma. You pull things together. That's why the aggregates become one. Actually, which in fact, all the aggregates are separated. But as long as your minds become stable, you can see that the aggregates are separated. You don't have to separate the aggregates. the aggregates are already separated. You can see that the form is one thing, the mind knows the form. The feelings, which is happiness and happiness within our hearts, are another thing. The mental the perception are one thing, the mind is another thing. The mental fabrication is one thing, the mind is another thing. Even the mind or consciousness itself is impermanent. Sometimes it's knower, sometimes it's lost, sometimes it's thinker, sometimes it's overgasser. So there will be no mind cut these phenomena. If you keep on drifting away, thinking and listening and seeing, you cannot practice Dhamma. The wisdom cannot arise because there's still delusion. The wisdom is non-delusion. Without delusion, the nine is to become stable. The right samadhi is the proximate cause of the wisdom. The wisdom is non-delusion. Once the mind becomes stable, the aggregates will be separated automatically. And then you could see that each aggregate portrays its duty, which is the three characteristics. The body, we don't really contemplate on the foldings anymore of the body anymore. We see the characteristics. So the important thing, the difficult part is that how could we awaken our mind? I've been teaching for many, like 10 or 20 or 30 years. It's all about awakening your mind. Once you become awakened, the aggregates will be separated. You can see that each aggregate under three characteristics. Up to this point, then the mind can walk the path on its own. Up to one point, the mind will become exhausted. So you do the calmness samadhi. So the calmness samadhi is very crucial. If you keep on cultivating wisdom all along, then you don't have enough samadhi, and it gives rise to the insight, defilements, and thinking that you're arahant. So you do calmness samadhi and then cultivate wisdom. Like we walk through the left and right foot. Calmness samadhi and vipassana, calmness samadhi, vipassana, repeatedly like this. First of all, but you have to have the morality, the 5 precepts. If you walk this path, then the Dhamma practice through the liberation, the attainment, will not be far away. It's far away because you don't know the path. If you know the path, then it won't take long. If your mind is correct, then the wisdom cultivations will be short. Most of the time that we practice is we try to cultivate our minds to be ready for the mind to cultivate wisdom. It might be difficult at first, but once if you keep doing, it's going to be easy. Up to one point, it's nothing to do. I actually don't have to do. All the aggregates are separated on its own. I don't have to separate the aggregates. I could see the 3 characteristics from time to time. I see everything's empty. When I was surrounded by all of you, I feel that I'm living in solitude. Even though if I don't have to speak, it's like I living alone. You know the way. You have to do it. Do it on your own. And after one point, if you cultivate wisdom, and you feel that, you don't know how to practice anymore, what to do, you come back to the calmness samadhi. If you don't know how to do calmness samadhi, you can feel the body. The body exists. The body never go away. Once the body moves, no soul. And the mind will gain some strength, and you can practice further. To practice Dhamma, it's ups and downs. If they're ups all along, then it will be wrong. Because the thing that we practice is still in the world. The world, logiya. There will be ups and downs in this world. So someday you feel that the fruit is in front of your own eyes, but the next day you feel that you don't know how to practice. Do not become startled if you don't know what to do. Then you come back to the calmness samadhi, meditate on Buddha, for example, or feel the body. Once the mind gains some strength, then you can practice again. If you practice still, then you see there's still ups and downs. It teaches you the higher Dhamma. Whatever arises, they all fall away. Even the wisdom that you see everything as the three characteristics, but then you couldn't see them at all, and they can suppress your conceitedness. It's good. Could you see that sometimes you can do it, sometimes you cannot? It really teaches you Dhamma. It teaches you the three characteristics that you are actually not that good. Because in fact, there's no self, there's no us. There's only the wrong notion that there is a us. Today, I thought about calmness samadhi quite a lot. Because one of the monks are making mistakes too. Like all the monks, monks in Thailand falters. So you contemplate on the foul things. They don't do it. They committed that deeds. Then they're not careful about their thoughts. So they falter. A lot of people look down on monks without categorizing, without contemplating. But actually they're fighting hells to them because there are a lot of good monks as well. Now they're please try to record all the history of the monks like criminals, the criminal history, things like that. Same thing. Some people, they want to do this to every monk, but actually sometimes the monk's gone, they come enter the monkhood and leave the monkhood. They're afraid of monks doing corruption. But for me, when I was officer to analyze the strategy, I'm an expert at this. I would do differently. I would categorize the temples, the group of monks that has high risk of corruption. There's a high risk and low risk of corruption. It's impossible to do everything. If you want to inspect all of this, you need to find more people to do so. Some people want to find the person who manage all the money in the temples. They relate to people in the village like Abatar or the officers in the village, but these people used to corrupt before. Like the managers of the Samak would already in jail. A lot of people corrupted. There are different rules and disciplines. It cannot really truly fix the corruption. But if you categorize them, categorize the monk, especially the higher rank. I'm just talking. I don't have any titles. I'm leaving all the bureaucratic system, but I found another bureaucratic system. Forgot to check the homework. To practice Dhamma, I felt that there is no improvement. Sometimes mindfulness happens very quickly. I would observe the body and mind and the thoughts and the things behind the thoughts. that there is no self. It seems easy, but someday mindfulness doesn't arise. I feel self-awareness less. Keep on repeating like this. I want to understand Dhamma in this lifetime. The Lord said that I already told you that there will be ups and downs. What you're making incorrectly, that you want to gain the Dhamma. That's the wrong path, because the craving is the cause of suffering, not the cause of enlightenment. So you keep on practicing to worship Lord Buddha. We don't gain anything. We don't want anything. We want to only sacrifice things, and then you can walk in this path smoothly. If you want to take things, then the mind become hot-tempered. That want to get it, then you become lose the strength of the mind. You just practice to worship Lord Buddha. Whatever ups and downs, you keep on practicing. You remember that what I already answered you. Number two. Let's see if I answer your question already. I practice by walking meditation and see the body moving and taking turn observing the breath. I diluted in the well of thoughts and knowing, lost and knowing, lost and know again. I see the species within the action, all kind of characteristics. Once there are characteristics, I be aware of them. If there are speech of the mind, I know so. Luang Por said that it's actually good. You keep on, the mind keep on speaking, narrating. You cannot forbid it to happen. It takes 10 years. It takes decades to stop narrating. What you practice is good and very good. The mind is awakened. But now it's not off the basal open. See that? The mind is in front a little bit. It's not with the body, it's beyond the body. When you practice, do not let it beyond the body. Now and just now it's different. Just now the mind was outside. When you practice correct, keep on doing it. Number three. Number one, your weakness is the hot temper. You have to be careful. It will trick you to want to accelerate your practice. And once you accelerate your practice, you don't want to do it anymore. Just practice to worship Lord Buddha. Number two, your send the mind out to see. Number three, I practice in formal meditations through sitting after waking up in the morning. During the day, I try to observe thoughts. There's a lot of delusion, aversion. I can see sometimes, I can see sometimes. Whenever there's suffering, I like to sit in meditation for calm and samadhi. Luang Por said that the suffering is your teacher. Do not be afraid of it. The suffering is the best teacher. Those who attain Arahant, they could know the suffering crystal clearly. Once the suffering arises, know so. But for you, once the suffering arises, you want to discard it. Know so. Know that the mind wants the suffering to go away. And see that it arises from the cause. Without the cause, it won't up. It won't arise. You cannot command it. Keep on observing like this. Your mind now and just now is different. You see that? The mind now is more energized and braver. There are changes within your heart. Keep on practicing. Number four. I walk in meditation in morning and evening, about 40 minutes a day. And you see the body moves. Sometimes become aches here and there more frequently. You see them more frequently, and there are a lot of feelings arising on its own. I observe the body and mind like this, and I also teach the three characteristics of myself. I don't know what to practice next. But Keep on doing what you do. Once the mind becomes stuck and still and do not want to cultivate wisdom, do not think on the three characteristics when you see it. Just feel it, sense it. What you practice is good. Keep on doing. But now you're forcing the mind to be forcing the mind out of it. You see that the mind is still more still than usual. Why still? Because you want to be good, so you force it. You want to practice. If you know the craving, then you stop forcing, and the mind will become natural. If your mind becomes natural and normal, there's no bias. There was no overwhelmed by the aversion delusion. The normal mind is not meddled with the bias. Without the bias, they can see the three characteristics. With the bias, can see the three characteristics. Like you like this and like that, or hate this and hate that. Number three, your mind have a lot of bias. Hate this and like that to a large extent. Number four, you're good. Keep on practicing gradually and gain more good understanding. You're walking the right path. Number five, wait a second. Number two, your mind inclined to go outside a little bit. And you breathe in. You see that now and just now it's different. Do not let the mind flowing out without knowing it. Once the mind getting out, know so. Number five, try to uphold the five precepts and cultivate mindfulness in daily life by observing the mind and the breath. I do formal meditations every day about 2 times a day by sitting and chanting 1 or 2 hours a day. The mind used to see the rising and falling away of the phenomena and see the characteristic crystal clearly. But nowadays I feel as if the strength of the mind is not enough. I only see the mind that stable is not stable, but I can see the body and mind are separated. Can you give me guidance, please? What I'm teaching you sin in the morning is all the path that you have to make. Because you see that there is strength of the mind more and more. When you talk to me, you might gain some strength. But do not invite me to talk to you much, otherwise I'll lose my strength. Keep on practicing. Your mind still struggling, is striving. Do not practice because of the greed. Your mind still struggling. If anything happens, just know so. Then the mind becomes calm and happy with yourself more and more. The craving is the one that makes your mind running around. So keep breathing. See the body breathing with the mind as observer. Number 6. I used to submit homework. The Buddha taught me that the world and the Dhamma doesn't conflict. So I comply with your teachings. I practice in this world, see the mental formations more, and also I don't attach to them. But there's sometimes that attach to the boredomness becomes suffering. Once I can let go of them, I stuck in the emptiness. In this emptiness, sometimes I could let go, sometimes I couldn't. Sometimes I attached so that it gives rise to suffering. I'm not sure what to do, how to handle my mind. You have to handle anything, you just know the mind. If the mind is stuck in the emptiness, know so. If your mind could see that whenever you attach to these things, it causes you suffering, know so. Just know what you can know. Your practice is good, number 6. It's very good. The mind is gentle. You see things. Just know things. Know the phenomena. Now you're pull in the mind. Here is the point that you can observe the body and mind with the neutral mind. If it's too deep down, then you're forgetting. Come backward. You have too much intention. You see the intention? Intention is the greedy intention. Just know it as it really is. Do not try to adjust it. Know it as it really is. Once you relax more, it becomes more blossom and joyful. If you pull it together, then it will become tight. Keep on practicing. If it's become tight, then you're forcing it. Relax it more. And try to be aware with the normal and natural mind. Number 7. I have aversion and angry nature, then trying to see the movements. And I like to listen to your Dhamma talk while practicing. Without listening, I can see the thoughts drift away, moves. Sometimes I can see through image. The mindfulness arises automatically while moving. There's suffering within the mind, then the mindfulness arises automatically. But once the happiness arises, the mindfulness didn't arise. Your mind can cultivate wisdom and the mind have more stable mind, but you're forcing your mind a little bit. Now, it's a little bit tight. Smile sweetly. It's better now. Here is the right part, right point. Now is you're pulling together again. Do not pulling together like that. Every time you do that, there's an us arising. Aggregates are separated. You see the each and every one of it just working on its own. Do not pull it together. If you pull it together, then it can give rise to wisdom. Number 8. I chant and sitting meditations, observing the body breathing now. I see the mind scattered and calm. I'm walking in the morning and evening and listening to the Dhamma talk altogether. I see the body walking and the mind drift away to the listening of Dhamma. And listening to other things, the mind drift away to thoughts. Now, for a period of time, there is no forcing of the mind. During the day, I do house shows, have the mindfulness to observe the body moves and stop. The Lord said that it's correct. Keep on doing. That should be all for today. It's been 1 minute late.